Tim?
Yeah, this is David.
Yeah, man. How are you? How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Great. What's happening?
Not so much, man. I'm excited to speak with you. Awesome. How are you? How's everything?
Good. Doing well, man. Just kind of just chilling out a little bit this week for a change.
All right. Yeah, I had a good one this weekend. How's your quarantine been?
It's been extremely busy, to be honest with you. And I've been quarantining. I've been playing by the rules. You know, when I go out, I wear a mask, and for 3-4 months, I didn't go out really. Certainly not socialize, but I exercised a lot.
Oh, no shit.
Got some mountain bikes and swimming, and golf courses stayed open here in Arizona, so we were out golfing, and my kids took up golf, so we've kind of got like a nice, fun little family. Between swimming, bike riding, and golfing, it's actually, our physical fitness has probably been better than ever. Just through it all. So, crisis can present opportunity, which is pretty much what it's all done for me.
Yeah. And it's beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, how much time we're able to really invest in our family and focus back on that instead of, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's really reset me. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a bad thing. And musically, I've been super productive, and so quite honestly, it's actually I've found it to be good use of my time. To be honest with you,
That's cool. You have an album coming out entitled No Cover.
Yep,
that's the name of the magazine. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I am. I found it fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Take me through the infancy idea of this.
Well, earlier this year, we were recording and have recorded a Ellefson solo band full-length record of original material, mostly all original material. And we put a couple of those tracks out in an original track, Simple Truth, and then a cover of the Post Malone song, Over Now. We put those out in April and May. Later in May, I went to Nashville to record the new Megadeth album. And I came home, and I was talking to Tom Hazart, my singer in my band, as well as my partner in all things Ellefson. And I was definitely, we were all on a big creative high anyway. And just, it's funny, we both said it almost at the same time. Why don't we just do a cover record to put out later this year? Like, why put out a solo record of original material in October, which was our original plan, when we can't tour to support it? Mm-hmm. And all of our plans that we had for, to tour are all now moved back to 2021. So we decided to kick that down into probably Q1 or Q2 2021. And we said, let's do some covers. And initially we were thinking maybe it might be an EP, 5-6 songs. And then next thing you know, we had 10 or 11 songs, which is an album. And then we ended up with 18 songs, which is pretty much a double album. And it just, the fun of it just took off. And every day Tom and I would talk about songs, and I would call Andy, or I'd email Andy over in Andy Martingelli, our guitar player over in Italy. And by either later that night or first thing the next morning, we'd wake up and there'd be those songs in our email box, all pretty much, into a digital, kind of a Pro Tool session, ready to go. And Andy's just fantastic with that. And I can't say enough. I mean, he's really been a workhorse to just sort of take our crazy ideas and turn them into a musical reality, to get the songs lined out. And I love how Andy plays, because he's got such an incredible energy on our tracks. And I think that was really kind of became the focal point of redoing these songs. Is, first of all, these are songs from our youth. They're songs that in a lot of cases, I played in my bands growing up. like Wasted, Love Me Like a Reptile. You know, some of the stuff I played with. In fact, I have my childhood friend Greg Handovit, and we moved to LA together in 1983. And he was actually technically the other co-founding member of Megadeth. It was his idea to call the band Megadeth, actually. And it didn't work out for him to stay in the band, but he and I grew up playing in bands together, and one of the songs we used to play together was Love Me Like a Reptile. That's why I had him sing and play guitar on it, along with Doro and Tom. So I just found this to be just this fun summertime project to just rally all of our friends, and especially a song like Wasted, which, again, Greg and I played as kids in our cover band when we were just teenagers. And, you know, Frank Hannon is a, you know, huge fan of Def Leppard, also a dear friend of Def Leppard, because Tesla and Def Leppard have toured together a lot. He immediately jumped in and said, "Oh my God, I'd love to play on that track." And like a song like Sheer Heart Attack, for instance, you know, I was thinking about doing a Queen song, but you know, Queen's obviously very popular now with the movie and, you know, everything. But I didn't want to do just kind of your typical, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't think
Bottom
there is
Girl
a typical Queen song. Yeah.
But like something you hear every day on the radio. You don't want to.
Yeah, I did not want to do that. And in fact, all these songs, we didn't want to do like Cold Gin, Breaking the Law, all the kind of standard, you know, Highway to Hell, you know, your typical kind of, as we would call them, bar standards, you know what I mean, that we all play, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do those. I wanted to go deeper and play things that had some meaning to me or were musically, you know, kind of off the grid, you know, Sweet F.A. by Sweet. You know, I was sitting out with Mike Portnoy. We were running through the Desolation Boulevard album, and we were just kind of spitballing the songs we remembered. And he brought that one up. This was last summer when we were doing Metal Allegiance. He goes, "Oh man, Sweet F.A." And I was like, "Fuck, that's right. What a great song." So I've been revisiting that. And the thing was, okay, who are you going to get to sing this? Because, you know, Tom is the singer in the solo band, but you know, we knew with this one we're going to want to bring in a different flavors. Because singing covers, one of the things you find when you're in a cover band as a kid or even today, and cover bands can make more money than original bands, that's for damn sure. But, you know, one of the things you find...
I'm a booker, I know it.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty diverse with your chops. You can't be a one-trick pony.
Huh.
And I grew up playing covers, and it forces you to really understand a lot of different approaches. And then, of course, I had my own, you know, original music career, you know, with Megadeth, where I got to focus on just being me. Mm-hmm. And then there comes this moment, you know, during your career where it's fun to just kind of go be someone else for a little while, you know. And
it's part of being an artist.
It is. I was on a Zoom call with Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister last night, and I said, "Man, brother, I hope I did your bass part justice." And he was thrilled, you know. I think he was just so thrilled that we did it. And a lot of it isn't just playing the notes. You really have to kind of get into the character of the part. And, you know, like with Free Will Burning and even Sheer Heart Attack by Queen, you know, to me, it's about what would it sound like if Queen went in right now today with all the modern technology and kick-ass guitar tones we can get, and they recut the track. That's what I want this to sound like, you know. Yeah. I wanted Free Will Burning to sound like if Judas Priest went in with Andy Sneap today and recut that with the Firepower lineup. What would it fucking sound like? And I think we honored that, you know.
When you're
to me, that's the spirit of it.
When you're doing these, do you have to get like the blessing from, like, you know, Billy Idol or Dead Kennedys or Motorhead, or
no,
you just do it yourself?
We can do it ourselves, and the reason is because you can go buy the license for it, because there's music publishers that control the rights to these songs. So as long as you buy the license, you can go in and you can cover these songs. As you know, as a promoter of live, you can cover anybody's song because of the performing rights societies of BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC. They'll you know, they protect and they collect from the promoters and the concert venues to you know, pay the writers. But as long as you secure the licenses, and the licenses are pretty particular. There's a digital license, there's a physical product license, there's licenses across Europe for different territories, so it can get quite complex, which is why, for the most part, this record will probably live most of its life digitally. But we are going to do some physical manufacture because that rockers like to have physical product. And we do have a few dates we put on sale with Saliva at the end of October down in Louisiana and Texas. So assuming those dates can happen, if, we don't get some sort of government ordered shutdown, which could happen. I mean, we're very aware of that, but assuming we can go do it, look, we want to have some physical product that we can have available to sell at the merch booth. And I think for a band like Ellefson, when we go out and we do solo stuff, to just go out and play an hour and a half of original material obviously would be very boring, and people would mostly be on a bathroom break. You'd even be, to see the guy from Megadeth, that in Megadeth is one thing. To see him doing something on the side, well, convinced me why I should go. And I think now having some covers that we can put in the set just makes it a more fun night out. I think we can now slip our solo songs in between some of these covers. So I think in a lot of ways, this cover record was not only a lot of fun and brought our community together while we're in this pandemic shutdown, but I think it also probably will serve well for, the live shows as well.
The one of the songs on the track list that stood out to me was Holiday in Cambodia. Is Charlie singing that song?
Actually, no, Tom's singing that one. Yep, Tom's singing it. Yep, and it's and Charlie's drumming on it.
I was just wondering because it said featuring Charlie. I was like, I wonder if he's singing.
Yeah, no, actually, Tom's singing on it. And it's perfect for Tom. It's funny with Tom because, he can certainly do the full sort of diesel throat, kind of sound great. But it's been really fun to watch him sort of expand as a singer. Because the whole thing, Tom and I, we had the record company and the coffee company, and the way he even sang with me at all is one night I was doing my solo bass story show, and some people were requesting Megadeth songs. I said, all right, look, I'll play a Megadeth song. Hey, does anybody know how to sing it? And Tom's like, I do. So I had him come up and sing it, and that's just how it happened. Because, for me, when I do these solo things, I like to be very all-inclusive and let people participate. I bring guests up. I let, if I know people in the town, I'll invite them out to come up and jam and do that. And to me, that just, because again, I've already got my name. I'm known for Megadeth. I don't have to go out and try to, prove a bunch of other things. To me, these solo things are about really being back in touch with just the love and fun of making music with my friends.
You're one of my favorite people from afar, just creatively, musically, and you're definitely a person that I want to support,
Thank you.
Especially, I go through, every month we're in touch with 50 artists, and I saw yours come across and I was like, we have to take, because, think about it, this is, for one, the cover thing is so beautiful. To me, it's beautiful. It is, you're making, it's very creative as well, getting all these songs together with all these different people. And even sort of in the music community, there are two different sides of the fence. Some people, it's not cool. I don't do my own songs, and most of their, on a local level, most of their songs are real shitty. And then when you ask them about, maybe you should throw a cover in there so people can get used to you. Is it anything you worried about? Is that's not cool to do that?
No, not at all. I'm way over to me, cool is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm lucky with Megadeth. We are one of the cool bands. Kind of despite ourselves, because when we were younger and we were just always right on the off the rail, falling into the abyss on every day, because that's just how our lifestyle, the nature of, I guess, if you're in a band called Megadeth, you better live like that,
Fuck yeah.
And then we hit a point where it's like, okay, now we got to get it together and clean up our act, which we did, and then we wrote even better songs and had bigger success, and we're able to reach the ends of the earth with it. And the work that we've done, because we've taken such great efforts to really like be really good at it. You know, there's some disciplines that kind of come with that too, and those disciplines have definitely stayed with me. And those are disciplines I had from the beginning when I started. I was always looking, where are the musicians that wake up every day and all they want to do is this? Where are those people? And when I met Dave, obviously he's one. And then we started getting other members in our band that were like that. And so, you know, I've grown up in a community, and quite honestly, the people on this cover record, you know, these guys are my buddies. You know, they're my friends. They all happen to be playing in famous bands, but you know, we grew up together. I mean, me and Charlie Benante. I mean, you know, Charlie and the Anthrax guys. I think they used to feed and let the Metallica guys, when Dave was in the band, like stay at their place when they were, you know, when they went to New York to get their first record deal with Megaforce. You know, so Anthrax, you know, they're just part of the fabric, and we're friends. We grew up together. Jason McMaster, you know, we met, I think his band opened Watchtower. I think they opened for us on either the Killing Is My Business or Pete Sell's tour. So we've been, then of course he had his success with Dangerous Toys. So we've been friends. Mark Slaughter and I, you know, grew up together around each other. You know, two guys that weren't from Hollywood, but were in Hollywood with our band. So I think there was kind of that connection with us. At one
What
point.
song on this album do you feel is like, man, this came out way better than I expected. I'm super proud of this one. I love this song.
Well, Rebel Yell is one.
That's the one I want to hear. I haven't heard the whole album.
Andy Martingelli actually recommended that, and I thought, my God, that is so cool, because, you know, and I know there's been a few bands that have tried to cover it, but it's, you know, Rebel Yell, when I get asked, you know, the 3 albums to take to a desert island kind of question, you know, Kiss Destroyer, Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. I mean, those are the 3 that, you know, go to the desert island with me. And I love that album. I love that song. And it was so fun to cover it, because it's got all the right elements of great song, lyric, music,
yeah,
all the parts.
It's definitely all the parts together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a build-up in that song, too. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
So,
I mean, that
awesome.
one came out great. I mean, look, I could run down the list. I mean, guys, to be honest with you, every one of them is my favorite song. And, I mean, I just go through them. And I will say this. This has been one of my favorite records of my entire career to put together. It's probably because the songs are already written, so there's probably kind of just a real joy in going in and just playing them. And it's fun now at my age and all these years of experience I have, to go back and revisit songs that I used to try to play when I was much younger. And now because I've had a lifetime and a career as a professional recording artist, I can appreciate what they were doing. I can also understand some of the limitations that those records had as far as production abilities. Some of those artists were also very young at the time when they were making those records. So, you know, and honestly, Sweet F.A., you know, because Steve Priest just died last month, and he was one of my heroes. Sweet was one of the very first rock bands I ever heard on the radio when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I mean, Ballroom Blitz and Fox and the Run. That stuff changed my life. I mean, those guys literally changed my life. And
that's the first CD I ever bought.
Right? Yeah. And I mean, and it's
because
funny.
of Wayne's World.
And it's funny, when I met Dave Mustaine, the first time I met him, he looked like Steve Priest on the cover of Desolation Boulevard. The jean jacket, same kind of hair, and the sunglasses. I was like, oh my God, this is Steve Priest from Sweet, you know. And so I was just like, my mind, I was like, I guess everybody in California must look like this, you know. And of course, Sweet or British, you know. But But I was just kind of like, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I have now placed myself into my own dream, you know. And so, you know, Sweet holds this special place. And Todd Kearns, who plays bass in Slash's band, I've known him for quite a few years, and he just killed it. I mean, he just fucking killed that track, man. Just so good.
Was there anybody on this album that you were like, oh, let's try to get this person to do a song? And you're like, he's probably not going to do it. And you're like, oh, shit, he did it.
You know, I guess what was funny was one day I had a band called F5 back in the early 2000s, and we did a cover of the Fight song "Nailed to the Gun," which is Rob Halford's band right after he left Judas Priest. And I remember seeing Fight when they came through Phoenix. They played a small little club, and keep in mind, just a few years earlier, I was on tour playing the arenas with Rob on the Rust in Peace tour when he was doing the Painkiller tour with Judas Priest. That was his last tour he did with them at that point. And we did a cover of it, and I remember Rob liked it and thought it was, I think he appreciated that I did one of his songs, not a Priest song, but one of his songs. Mm-hmm. And so I saw it on YouTube. I saw some fan made a comment to push across my phone, and I went, you know what? I called Andy. I said, let's do that song. That's a great fucking song. And so I hit Jimmy DeGrasso because he played on it for me with F5. And then he said, hey, my friend Andrew Freeman, who sings in Last in Line, he would love to sing on that song. He said, fucking done. I love Andrew. And then Tom said, he goes, dude, Russ Parrish, who is Satchel in Steel Panther, he was in Fight. Like, he played on it. I was like, oh, my God. So that was just one of those songs that just sort of built itself, and to have Russ Parrish on it. I mean, Russ is just, he's a great guy. He's a fucking amazing guitar player. He played on something for me and Frank Bello with Altitudes and Attitude. I had this bass line I brought in for a song called Leviathan, and that's all I had was the bass part. And Russ turned it into the song that it is. I mean, I just have nothing but just admiration for the guys playing. And so it was fun to call Russ, go, dude, you want to revisit your past and play the solo on a song you already played a solo on. And so it's super fun.
That's sort of cool. That's a fucking cool story.
Yeah.
David, I just want to say thank you for your time. This right here, we are happy and excited to have you as part of this album or as this magazine. Good luck with everything, and from my point of view, I really I see you as a very, very creative man. Keep on doing what you're doing, and thank you for everything you've given to the world.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Tim. I appreciate it.
Have a good one, Dave.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Bye-bye.